The following program is a production of the Television News Workshop, a course in the Department of Mass Communications at Moorhead State University. This is Campus News with Lisa Johnson.
Good evening. This is the first of what we hope will be a regular campus news program that will bring you on this cable channel. Campus News will focus on events in area college, including Concordia Colleges, Moorhead State University, and North Dakota State University. Wire service stories about campus events occurring anywhere in the world will also be reported. We hope that you'll be a regular viewer of this program, and we hope that you'll learn more about campus life as a result. Certainly the biggest story on campus this week was King Olaf's visit to Concordia College. Although the day was overcast, the festivities were bright and colorful. Cindy Hitter has details.
His Majesty King Olaf V of Norway landed at Fargo-Sector Airport yesterday morning and began what was his third visit to our area. The King was greeted at the airport by local dignitaries and the Concordia College rep band. After a brief stop at the Civic Memorial Auditorium, the King was taken to Concordia for a convocation service in honor of his visit. The service included an academic procession of faculty, administration, and pastors, followed by King Olaf and his official party. The King received an honorary degree during his first visit to Concordia and so dressed in academic robes for the convocation. The Concordia College Choir and Band provided music by Norwegian composers. They were under the direction of Dr. Paul J. Christensen, an instructor at Concordia who was one of the recipients of royal honors from the King. The president of Concordia College, Dr. Paul J. DeVries, is also a recipient of royal honors. DeVries welcomed King Olaf during yesterday's convocation and then presented him to the capacity-filled auditorium. In his address, the King remembered past visits and commented on the changes. He also expressed his hopes for the continuing good relations between Norway and the United States.
This is my third visit to Concordia College. Your campus has changed since I was here last in 1968. You have added beautiful new buildings, artworks, and landscaping. But one fundamental aspect of life on your campus remains unchanged. The whole atmosphere is just as friendly and open as I remember it to be from my previous visits. A Norwegian visiting your college cannot help but take pride in the great accomplishments of earlier generations of Norwegian immigrants to the United States. At the same time, the very existence of a vital educational institution like Concordia College produces in me feelings of extreme confidence about the future partnership and relationship between the United States and Norway.
After the convocation, King Olaf was escorted to the Knutson Center for lunch and a short rest. Later, there was a formal wreath-laying ceremony. At the ceremony, the King visited with Norwegian students who are attending Concordia College. The King was then taken to the airport, ending another historical visit. King Olaf's visit to Concordia marked the establishment of the King Olaf V Scholarship Fund. These scholarships will be awarded to Norwegian students who participate in the Oppdag America program at Concordia College. This is Cindy Hitter reporting for Campus News.
12 Concordia College students have already received the King Olaf Scholarship. The 12 are Norwegian students enrolled at Concordia. It was said during yesterday's convocation that the scholarship is a way of honoring King Olaf during his year of Jubilee. 4-hour visit. During that time, King Olaf's visit had to be laid out in detail by a planning committee of about 30 people. Odell Bjerknes, chairman of the planning committee, said security was the top issue to be considered. The proper way to treat visiting royalty and dignitaries was also a very time-consuming concern. 4 different security groups were on hand for the event. Every process, up to exact turns, were included in a 30-page document submitted to the Secret Service so they'd know exactly what to expect. Bjerknes said practices for the occasion began 2 weeks before the King's arrival. Many of those started from the airport and included every detail to ensure that things would run smoothly. They didn't know what they were voting for, is the slogan of Reverend David Connect, chairman of a group of North Dakotan citizens to limit gambling. Referring to the drive by state legislators in the 1970s to make games of chance such as bingo and raffles legal, Connect contends the voters in North Dakota didn't want blackjack and pull tabs included in state gaming operations. Blackjack and pull tabs were legalized in 1980 by an amendment to the state constitution. Connect made these comments at North Dakota State University. A Moorhead State University instructor says he's come up with new evidence in the trial of Leonard Peltier. Jim Messerschmidt says Peltier wasn't given a fair shake in 1977, and he's written a book which he says exposes injustices that occurred. Emily Ockery
Here are pushing for a new trial. In April of 1977, he was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder in the slaying of 2 FBI agents on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. The trial, held in Fargo, lasted 2 months. A Moorhead State University instructor says there were some major problems with the trial, and he's writing a book to let people know about them.
What I'm showing is that this trial has broader circumstances. In other words, what I do is I put this trial into context. And, what it shows is that there's actually more things happening here than what the trial concentrated on. In fact, what I analyze is why this trial occurred in the first place. And, why Leonard Peltier was brought to court, why specifically him, why he was singled out.
Messerschmidt feels there were many reasons why Peltier was arrested instead of somebody else. He says big business had been trying to get the mineral rights to Pine Ridge for some time, and Peltier was organizing the Native Americans to fight back.
Peltier was involved in a grassroots movement on the Pine Ridge Reservation to organize Native American people around treaty rights, to understand what those treaties mean, especially the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty that deals with the Lakota and their land.
Peltier's first chance for parole is in 1997. He's currently serving 2 consecutive life terms in Marion Federal Prison in Illinois. Emily Ockery, Campus News, Moorhead State University.
Speakers and presenters from throughout the region will be at the University of North Dakota starting October 28th for a 2-day conference on research by women in higher education. About 40 research projects ranging from problems with speech to drinking patterns will be presented in the 2-day sessions. The UND Women's Equity Committee selected the papers for presentation in a blind review process, and they're sponsoring the conference. For more information on that conference, you can call Dawn Wagner at 777-2663 in Grand Forks. If you're worried about your financial aid for this year, it looks like things are only going to get worse.
Moorhead State's Director of Financial Aid says there's a sharp contrast for the student aid outlook this year and next year.
This year is roses and next year is thorns under the administration proposals. And we haven't gotten to the biggie yet. The Guaranteed Student Loan Program, as far as our students here are concerned, and nationally, is the major program in terms of numbers of dollars involved.
In addition to the higher cost of living and people simply having less money, getting student aid is getting harder. Changes in eligibility requirements for the Guaranteed Student Loan Program took place as of October 1st of last year. Students with a family income of less than $30,000 could borrow money if they wanted to, but students with a family income of $30,000 or more are now awarded aid on the basis of a needs test. At Moorhead State this year, says Anderson, 30% of the 1,100 applicants couldn't borrow because they didn't pass the needs test. If you're in your 3rd or 4th year and you're wondering how you're going to finish college, there are some high school students who are having second thoughts about even starting. Ray Larson, Director of Guidance for the Moorhead School District, says high school students will probably be taking a hard look at their futures this fall.
What I would expect to happen is that there will be more planning on the part of parents and students relative to their post-high school plans. Students that might be considering colleges, for instance, out of the area may be more inclined to consider colleges within the area. And also the fact that that students may decide to work a year to build up some funds to go to college with. I can see that happening, and that trend has already shown up in the graduates of the last 2 years, but not in any great measure. But there have been, in our count, there have been more kids taking the year off.
Larson speculated about the possibility of students staying in school longer because of the tightness of the job market. That slumping job market doesn't give college seniors a very bright look into their futures either. But as Joe Softing reports, there is room for optimism if certain strategies are taken soon.
The job outlook is poor, to say the least. It's probably, or it is, the poorest that we have ever seen. in 7 years that I have been here.
For college seniors about to enter today's professional world, the outlook may appear dim, but despite the slumping job market, Mel Schmitz, Director of Career Planning and Placement at Moorhead State University, says students shouldn't worry, although preparations and strategies for finding a job next fall should start right now.
In order to be prepared to go out and find that job, you have to start now with the personal preparations, registering with the placement office, preparing a resume, polishing up those interviewing and job-seeking skills.
Schmidt says in past years, students were usually advised it would take 3 to 6 months before a professional job could be found. Now students are recommended to start planning 9 months to a year ahead. To assist with these job-seeking skills, career workshops are being offered at Moorhead State to help with resume writing, interviewing skills, and personal presentation. According to Schmitz, individual characteristics and self-presentation play a large part in seeking employment in today's market. Schmidt says today's job seekers will have to work harder, start earlier, and be prepared to go longer.
Be a survivor until things improve. And again, I don't see it happening in the immediate future.
Jill Softing for Campus News, Moorhead.
A debate and open forum between Paul Erickson and Dwayne Hoberg will be held Thursday at Moorhead State. Hoberg and Erickson are candidates for the 9A congressional seat. The debate will take place at 7:30 in Weld Hall, and the main issue will be how legislation has affected education. Panelists from Moorhead State and Concordia will conduct the debate. It's free and open to the public, and for more information, call 236-2100. What do high school seniors do right after graduating? Well, some of the answers were found at Moorhead State this week. Kevin Wallivant has more.
Hundreds of area high school seniors had the chance money to get a close look at opportunities after high school. Representatives from 90 colleges displayed their wares to young prospects. Schools anywhere from a tech school in Phoenix, Arizona to a Fargo beauty school were there. Representatives say the economic crunch has affected the enrollment figures in many institutions.
But what we have seen is, at least at Mankato State, a pretty large increase in enrollment, not necessarily in new students, but in students returning from the other years, previous years, and pretty healthy growth of enrollment. We think partly could be the cost factor because we feel State University system is probably right now one of the best ways to spend your educational dollar. I would obviously say that. I believe in the State University system. And also the community colleges, apparently, we see that they're very much up this year.
As enrollment in many private institutions takes a beating because of skyrocketing tuition, technical schools are having an average year. What are students looking for?
Well, sometimes they're looking for shortcuts to a quick buck.
And so these students will make a decision. Some may go to a four-year college, some a technical school or the service, and some may just stay at home and work, if they can find a job. With photographer Scott Bowl, Kevin Wallivant reporting for Campus News at Comstock Memorial Union.
The enrollment at Moorhead State is expected to be about 5% less than last fall's total of 8,300 students. So far, 5,800 full-time and part-time students have paid their bills. MSU Registrar Don Engberg says the number is expected to increase when loans come through to students who have deferred payments. Engberg says that the decrease wasn't a surprise. He cites negative publicity about tuition rates at Minnesota universities and the reduction of high school graduates due to declining enrollment in high schools as reasons for the drop in enrollment at MSU. For some college freshmen, the first month of school can be a difficult adjustment. Leaving home and friends can create a sense of loss. Ron Copita, Director of Counseling at Moorhead State University, explains how MSU deals with the problems of freshman adjustment.
We try to make that transition from high school senior to college freshman as painless as possible. And one of the things that we do is to provide an opportunity for the student, both in the summer and again in the early fall, to feel very much a part of the campus community. We provide a variety of information seminars during fall orientation. We provide them with opportunities to meet their peers and to just get a sense that this is going to be their new home and that the campus is eager to have them here and eager to provide a meaningful both academic and social experience for them.
What seems crucial is that a student feel a sense of community. Being comfortable in their new surroundings makes the academics of school much easier. This is Fran Delmore reporting for Campus News.
October 15th and 16th, Moorhead State will be holding a conference on reading. The guest speaker will be the Director of Language and Literacy at the University of California School of Education, Dr. Robert Riddell. Riddell will hold workshops both days along with 18 MSU staff members. The theme of the conference is Language and Literacy, from Theory to Practice. It's sponsored by the Red River Valley Reading Association and the Continuing Education Program at Moorhead State. The workshop will be held in the Comstock Memorial Union on the campus of MSU, and the times of the workshop will vary. The general public is invited, but students can get graduate and undergraduate credits for attending, and if you sign up by Wednesday, the registration fee will be lower. For more information, call Dr. Leslie Crawford at MSU. If you're a new college student or just one who never developed good study habits, the Continuing Orientation Program may be for you.
Moorhead State University is offering a series of college survival workshops this fall as part of the school's Continuing Orientation Program. The first workshop, which was conducted by Student Union Director Kathy Allen and Orientation Coordinator Kathy Scott, focused on time management. Scott says better time management skills can help a student's college career.
I would think because they're interested, and if they can just pick up a couple of the ideas, that they're really going to do better in school. And usually, they're usually the people that care, about their grades and things like that.
Okay.
I would say so. It really worked for me.
The workshop helped participants to identify areas where their time management skills were weak and offered suggestions on how to improve those skills. Allen said a major step is to set priorities and then concentrate on the highest priority tasks. The next Continuing Orientation workshop will deal with opportunities to study abroad and will be held next Monday at noon in the Comstock Room of the Union. Louise Lund, Campus News at the Comstock Memorial Union.
Future workshops will deal with writing term papers, taking effective notes, developing effective study habits, and taking tests. In sports, providing encores from last year's successful football seasons, the Dragons, Bison, and Cobbers are once again at the top of the national rankings. Moorhead State is undefeated in 5 games and is ranked second in the NAIA Division I national poll. The North Dakota State Bison were ranked number 1 last week in NCAA Division II, but dropped a notch to second when Southwest Texas became ineligible this week. The Bison are 5-0. Concordia College has steadily improved since their opening loss to the Dragons. The Cobbers are 3-1 on the season and are rated 12th in the NAIA Division II rankings. Moorhead State found themselves in first place in the NIC after last Saturday's 30-20 win over the University of Minnesota Duluth. Dan Kleitz has more.
It was a classic Moorhead State-Duluth ball game as the lead exchanged hands 6 different times. The Dragons got on the board first with a Greg Martin field goal in the first quarter. The Bulldogs roared right back, however, with a 47-yard touchdown run by Prin Curry. Moorhead State would later counter on a 6-yard touchdown pass from Dennis Eastman to Randy Sullivan and a spectacular 90-yard touchdown run by Brad Pearson that followed another Duluth score. The homecoming crowd of 4,600 fans saw the Dragons slam the door in the fourth quarter by scoring on 2 long-distance drives while defensively stifling the Duluth offense. Duluth's Bruce Grant, the son of Minnesota Viking coach Bud Grant, completed 10 passes for 135 yards. But Dragon quarterback Eastman had the spotlight as he dazzled the Bulldog defenders all afternoon, completing 15 passes for 138 yards. Eastman, however, gives the credit to his front line.
It's just, when you get so much time, your offensive line gave me a lot of time back there. When you have that much time, they make any quarterback look good.
Moorhead State may still have 4 tough opponents standing in the way of an undefeated season, but at least the Dragons are heading in the right direction. Reporting from Nemzik Field, Dan Kleitz for Campus News.
Moorhead State will travel this weekend to Marshall to play NIC foe Southwest State. The Mustangs have never beaten the Dragons in their 12-year series. The North Dakota State Bison will leave for Sioux Falls to take on Augustana College, and the Concordia Cobbers will play host to Mankato State in a non-conference matchup. The game is Concordia's homecoming. The NDSU girls volleyball team boosted its match play record to 17-5 Wednesday afternoon. Karen Alsaker reports.
Gearing up to defend their North Central Conference Championship later this month, the NDSU Bison defeated a strong McAllister team 15-6, 15-6, 15-13 to win today's match. Last year, the Bison had their most successful season ever. Coach Donna Pavlovic sees a bright future for this young team.
I think that's been the basis of every year, at least to this point. For the first time, we actually lose key people in the two seniors that we'll be losing. And in the past, we've maybe lost one person, or maybe we didn't even graduate anybody. But the nicest thing about it is the fact that they're young enough that in 4 years, when the freshmen and sophomores become juniors and seniors, they'll be experienced to the point of having national competition.
Later this week, the Bison traveled to South Dakota State University to meet 3 conference rivals. From the NDSU Old Fieldhouse, Karen Alsaker, Campus News.
In other volleyball action, the Moorhead State squad will be playing in the McAllister College Invitational tomorrow. The Dragons are 12-8 on the season, 3-1 in Northern Sun Conference play. North Dakota State senior Tom Stombaugh came from behind to win individual honors at the annual Ponderosa Golf Course cross-country meet. Dan Kleitz reports.
North Dakota State University won this year's Dragon Red and White Cross Country Invitational. The Bison rolled to 24 points in outdistancing Moorhead State's 59 and Concordia College's 125. 9 teams and 60 runners competed. Dan Kleitz reporting for Campus News.
Moorhead State's women's cross-country team will host their Tri-College Invitational this weekend. Joining the Dragons, Cobbers, and Bison will be Jamestown State, the University of North Dakota, and Bemidji State. The meet is at the Ponderosa Golf Course. It was Ride-'em Cowboy in West Fargo last weekend. The Schallander Pavilion was the site of the annual North Dakota State University Bison Stampede Rodeo. Dan Kleitz has the report.
180 students from 19 colleges and universities competed in the Big Bison Stampede. NDSU has played host of the event for the last 17 years. Rodeo manager Darren Schweigler, a North Dakota State senior from New Salem, North Dakota, says college rodeos are quite popular in the Midwest.
There's a lot of people that ride in rodeos these days, and it seems like it gets more people every year, and a lot of people are enjoying rodeos. I think that's the main reason.
What's your job as far as...
My job, it seems to be about everything, I guess, lining up all the people that are here. Everybody that needs to be run rodeo, the contractors, the judges, the clowns. There's a whole list down, getting all my people ready to help work. A really good bunch of kids help me work. They're really helping out.
The college cowboys competed in bareback riding, calf roping, and steer wrestling, while the cowgirls competed in goat tying, barrel racing, breakaway roping, and team roping contests. Not all the cowboys were in college, though. The competing schools represented 8 states, including North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Nebraska, and Illinois. From West Fargo, Dan Kleitz reporting for Campus News.
South Dakota State's Tammy Wink and Brian Fulton took top cowgirl and cowboy all-around honors. Black Hills College in Spearfish, South Dakota won the women's division, while South Dakota State took the men's all-over competition. About 12 rodeos are held in the region each year. Norway was big this week. It looks like Ireland will be big next week. Moorhead State University will host Ireland's premier traditional folk band on Wednesday. Hailed as the greatest exponents of traditional Irish music, the Chieftains will be the first feature in MSU's series for the performing arts. The Chieftains hold an Academy Award for their film score to the movie Barry Lyndon. The group has played on albums with Eric Clapton, Van Morrison, Paul McCartney, and Art Garfunkel. They also have 10 of their own albums. The Chieftains have performed around the world, including performances at the Vatican, on television Saturday Night Live, and for the largest live concert audience in history, 1.3 million people. Their Wednesday night concert at Nemzik Fieldhouse will be a preview of the group's upcoming engagement at New York's Carnegie Hall. For more information about the concert or the series for the performing arts, you can call the MSU box office. That number is 236-2271. There will be a grand opening at NDSU next week. North Dakota State University will celebrate the opening of the new $6 million Music Education Center. The official dedication ceremony will be held at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, October 16th. The festivities will end with a concert by famed pianist, composer, conductor Peter Nero. The concert will be at 8:15 p.m. Tuesday, October 19th in the Festival Concert Hall. We'll have more on those dedication ceremonies next week. If you enjoy good theater, October is your lucky month. The 7th through the 11th, Concordia will present J.B. Now, it's a verse drama that looks at the wreckage and misery of the modern world through the eyes of 2 circus peddlers who play God and the devil with a modern businessman. No No Nanette, a musical comedy, will open at MSU the 21st through the 24th. The FM Civic Opera will present Czar and the Carpenter, a popular German operatic comedy, October 21st through the 23rd. October 28th through the 30th and November 4th through the 5th, you can see the performance of A Flea in Her Ear at NDSU. And Concordia will present Alexander on the Water by John Orlock, a Minnesota writer, October 28th through the 31st. Now, what looks like Star Wars, sounds like Star Wars, and runs on quarters? It would seem the Rec Center at Moorhead State University.
The number of video and pinball games in MSU's Rec Center has jumped from 10 machines last year to this year's 38. Warren Weiss, Assistant Director of the Student Union, explains the increase.
Because video has gone gangbusters the last few years, and it's been very, very popular, we noticed that there were many people who were unable to play here because there'd be 3 and 4 people at a time waiting to play machines. And so we figured if they couldn't play here, they'd probably go somewhere else and play.
The machines are leased from United Music Company, the same outfit that supplies the Pirates Den at West Acres. United Music Company is used as an outlet by Atari and other manufacturers as a test market for new games, like the popular Jungle King that Weiss says comes in second only to Tron. Other big money makers are Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man. Whichever games the people play, there are more than ever playing them. Lori Pluth is the student manager of the Rec Center and was instrumental in adding more machines to the union. She says the reaction to more games is very positive.
We've probably more than doubled our clientele. There's a lot more women in here than have ever used it. They like all the variety of the games. Overall, it's been really great.
More changes are still in store for the Rec Center. Weiss says additional machines and replacements for old models are still coming within the next few weeks. So far as the weather for this weekend, it looks as though we're in for another cool and wet one. Temperatures will dip into the 30s and low 40s, with highs reaching only the 50s on Sunday. Our normal high for this time of year is around 63 degrees, and we're not even going to come close. Our weekend highs will barely reach 50. Whether you're ready for it or not, snow, yes, snow is in the forecast for late Saturday and early Sunday, so if you're planning on some outside activities this weekend, bundle up. It's going to be a nippy one. After a summer vacation and a new coat of paint, Moorhead State University's Children's House is back in operation. Karen Alsaker reports.
This is a Children's House, a daycare center for young children established in cooperation with Moorhead State University. Located next to campus, it has become a valuable service to many. The parents of nearly all the children here are college students. The director of the Children's House, Marilyn Erickson, says the center receives assistance from Moorhead State students.
Yeah, we have work-study students who are on a work-study program through the university, and then student teachers. We have had 1 or 2 kind of drop-in volunteers. We try and encourage parents to come in and volunteer whenever they can, but it's very difficult because either our parents are working or they're full-time students, and it's difficult for them to get away. But most of our volunteers would be students, Moorhead State students who are here as a job or else training for teacher education.
Erickson says receiving any type of assistance from either in or outside of the university is crucial to the center's operation. Karen Alsaker, Campus News at the Children's House.
That's Campus News for this week. We hope you'll join us again next week. Good night.
This has been a presentation of Campus News with Elisa Johnson. Campus News was produced by the Television News Workshop in the Department of Mass Communications in cooperation with the Television Production Center at Moorhead State University.